Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Bag Lady J, and I'm coming to y'all with another video. Today, we go get into some girl talk and talk about why you date bums. And I have broken down three main talking points to why I gotta help my girls out and let y'all know, like, why are you dating bums and how to stop dating bums. Now, y'all know I have a background in psychology and I've dealt with a lot of people and I know a lot about relationships. So we go get straight into it. And y'all let me know below for the girls if y'all have any other things that you want to add. Help the sisters out because I've been seeing this as a topic and I actually made a post about this on Facebook, and that brings me to my first point. One of the first reasons why you might date bums is because it's in your genetic makeup. If you look at your mom, your aunties, your grandmas, shit, even your uncles, and you see the type of relationships that they tend to be in, you have to take that into account with the relationships that you're in, because as we grow up and get older, we're the first people that we see in relationships are the people around us. And as women, we have to look at that and see, are we taking on the same patterns in our relationships? Another reason why you keep dating bums is because you have codependency issues. Now, this is an issue where you tend to make a person like you're enmeshed with the other person. You feel like you guys' lives just have to go together. So as you date someone, you tend to take on different roles in the relationship, being hyper codependent and feeling as if you have to help them. You have to be their manager, their momager, their, you feel me? You have to be every female figure in their life. Especially prominent with a man that have a maternal issue. If they didn't have a good relationship with their mom, or they had a relationship that just wasn't healthy, it was toxic, or they're too close with their mother in their adulthood, these type of men tend to attract these same type of women that are the perfect remedy for a man with mother issues. It's true. Sometimes it's also your independence. Now, I love being self-sufficient. I preach about getting to the bag, especially for my women, and I love what we're doing right now in society. But that also attracts leeches, bums, and people that feel like they can depend on you because they see you doing such a good job being independent. Especially for women with no kids, man, that they think that they can come and be your next baby, and that's just not the truth and not how things go. And I think it's important as women how we also articulate our independence, because it's really something that you live through and that you wear, and not something that you have to force into your relationships. Like when you're in a relationship, you want to be in a situation that's whatever you want, for you. If 50-50 works for you, if 100-100 works for you, if 20-80 works for you, that's up to you. But you can't be the main sole person in the relationship that's putting in work, especially financially, just because you're independent. That's not what that means, Bookie. Next on my list is people pleasing, y'all. Oh my God. This is a big one, because a lot of times the way that we go about our business life, the way that we go around our the role that we play in our family situations, that tends to bleed into our relationships. And if you have codependent or people pleasing tendencies in your everyday life relationships, they 100% will carry over into your real romantic relationships. This is important because if you're used to being Captain Save-A-Ho in your family, you're definitely going to be that person in a relationship. You have to trust in your relationships that the person that you pick as your partner can pick their self back up when they're down as a grown-ass adult. You have to trust that if you believe in God, that God is going to get them together and help them through it. You can always offer your support and being helping him, but you cannot be the main person that's always helping out a person when you see that, they may not want to help themselves, or they're just in a sticky situation that may require them to go talk to God and seek out other forms of help. And that's okay. And I think a lot of times pride gets in the way of that for people pleasers. And even though, because I'm a retired people pleaser, we don't always look at it as pride. A lot of times we think that we're doing the right thing, but in reality, when you let go of somebody's hands, that's when they can learn how to swim. You can't help somebody up if you're drowning too, and then ultimately both of you are now drowning in the relationship. So it's very important that if you do have people pleasing tendencies, that you're managing yourself and putting up boundaries and letting it be known the lines that cannot be crossed between you and your partner in your relationship. Or else, because when they get blurred, baby, it's hard to unblur them. And a lot of people deal with this with family, always giving family money when you can't afford it, or just doing different things, or you helping a man trying to get a job, get to work, and do things that just don't require a partner, they require like them to look in the mirror and say that they want that for themselves. So that's where you got to draw the line. That's boundaries. And then also the expectations. I think that we get into relationships expecting people to be good people, and that's just not the truth. A lot of times we see people get taken advantage of in relationships, but by the time that they realize it, it's too late. So it's so important that we manage our expectations early in our relationship so that we allow time to not just get to know the person, but also get to know who they are with us, because a person could be a whole different person outside of you. But the person that you expect them to be, you have to hold them to that, and you have to hold them accountable. And if they cannot show up to be that person, that is okay. And that's why we also have to value friendships too. Sometimes the person that you're in a relationship with could turn out to be an amazing friend, but you may not know because you have these expectations of a relationship and you want them to provide these relationship dynamic things that they just don't have the capacity to provide. So save yourself the heartbreak and the trauma and just realize that some people are better off as friends, and it's okay. And that doesn't mean like, doing relationship stuff and giving it a friend title. That means really being a friend, really showing up as a friend, and being able to put up those boundaries and understanding the difference between a friendship and a relationship. Because a lot of times people start becoming like intertwined with each other, and it's like, I see why that's so toxic now, because as I get older, I realize that, if I'm with a grown person that's building up their own life, they won't have time to become a one person with me. We're not intertwined. We're not, conjoined at the hip. And we have this idea that that's what love is supposed to be, and that's just not true. And as women, we have this idea that, we're supposed to help this person, or we have to give all this unconditional love. And it's like, that's for a mother. That's the mother's job. It's nothing wrong with loving somebody, but it's also nothing wrong with stepping back and saying, hey, I need to be your friend first before I'm in a relationship with you, because we have to understand our dynamic. You have to allow people to be who they are, and you have to leave space for you to be who you are in your relationship. You do not have to change yourself or change another person in order to be happy. And if you're trying to change them or they're trying to change you, it's not meant for y'all to be in a relationship. You can always be friends with somebody. And I feel like we need to bring back the value of friendship. And that's how we get in so many codependent and just messed up relationships, because we rush to the relationship stage thinking that we're ready for something. It's like, you're never going to be ready, but you're never not going to be ready. So there's always levels to the type of relationship that you're allowed to have with somebody. You two just have to communicate and see what works for you, so that your expectations are set in the correct manner to where it fits reality. Because if not, you're gonna live in Delulu land, and that's okay when you want to manifest things. But I feel like love is something you have to be careful with, because you do have to protect yourself. You cannot expect other people to look out for your best interest more than their own, because they're just not going to do that, especially with men in relationships. They are great at preserving their energy. They're great at putting up boundaries. But as women, we fall into that trap of like, okay, well, I want to nurture this person. Next thing you know, you're nurturing his baby. Next thing you know, you're nurturing his family. And next thing you know, you can't even nurture yourself because you're so drained because you gave too much to this relationship. So yeah, that one hit for me. Trust me, that one hit. Because now, like, I have to tell y'all, my relationships have been so much better since I decided to stop just having to be there all the time. Once I stopped playing that role and realized that I have to trust people to get things together themselves. Like, I've dated people that have been through things, and every time they bounce back, and I realized that, well, I didn't really have the energy to help them. And when I went to go help them anyway, knowing I didn't have it, but just for the sake of love, to say I was a good girlfriend, or to say that, I was a good friend, or because I truly felt it in my heart that I was doing the right thing, I was disallowing them the opportunity and the chance to figure it out themselves and to rely on themselves, because that's a great feeling when you can come up and say, you know what, I really did that. And people on the sidelines supported me, but they didn't have to come and carry me through that. I figured that out myself. So next time when you have to figure it out, or when they have to figure it out, they're able to do it with ease. It's not a question on if they can do it. You have to trust that people around you have the capacity to do the things that they want to do in life. If they talk the talk, they got to walk the walk too. And there's nothing wrong with supporting, but you do not carry them across that finish line, because you have to carry yourself, boo. Like, it takes so much energy. And that's why I really applaud a real man. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because I see how real men in my life, like my dad, my brother, and guys that I've dated that I felt were real men, and they were able to carry these burdens compared to bums that I've dated in the past, because it's just a difference in like the perception on how they carry things. It's a difference in how, they go through things without having to drag a woman down. Like, it's nothing wrong with having a woman like, y'all, I'm going to school for therapy. I will listen to a man all day if he wants to talk about things he's going through. But at the end of the day, after I listen to the story, you're going to go find a solution because I trust you that you're a strong man and you're going to do it. Just like as a woman, I trust myself that I'm going to do everything I set myself out to. So me being there for people, but versus me actually taking the hit for a person or making that sacrifice as if they're my child, that's not healthy. Trust me, it's not healthy. Okay. I always talk about the bag, y'all, and a very big part of that is the spiritual bag. Okay. So, we have to stop dating people that's not a spiritual match for us. Being a bum is a mentality, and if you know somebody with a bum mentality, or he's a man that's trying to date you, but he doesn't have everything together. It doesn't even have to be everything. He's a man that wants to date you, but doesn't have his basics together. He doesn't have his house. He doesn't have a car, but you have all those things. It's not fair for you to drag yourself down spiritually, because it is really draining to help somebody like that. It's draining to always have to go out of your way in order to pick another person up spiritually. And I feel like a lot of people are down, when they're in survival mode and don't have their basic needs met, it can really mess with you spiritually. And I think that you should redirect that man to a therapist, honestly, or a social worker, or somebody that can really help him instead of trying to become that. A lot of times as females in relationships, we try to become that person that's doing everything, that's helping, that's looking for opportunities. And really, we just need to sit back, relax, and do the things that work for us and know that he got it, sis. No, you have to trust that this man has it. And if he has bum tendencies, trust that he'll get out of your energy. Like, if you're attracting bums, that means that you're helping bums, because birds don't go back where you don't throw food. If you stop throwing food, birds won't come back. But they always say, hey, don't feed the animals, because if you throw food out there, they're going to keep on coming back. So if you throwing that reel, that fish is going to keep on hooking onto it, because it sees food. So a man with a bum mentality is really just a man in survival. A man that's getting his shit together, because I don't think that all men that don't have a house or a car are bums. I just think that they are in survival and they need to figure out their basics, because at this point it is possible. It's not back in the day to where it's like, oh, damn, you really couldn't do this stuff. I feel bad for people that really are, they're dealing with mental struggles, health issues. They don't have family, and they genuinely cannot do that. But a bum is somebody that has all the opportunity, but does not want to take the time in order to get their basics together. So at that point, hey, you put the pieces together, the Pookies and Ray Rays of the world. And me and a good friend, we're talking about this, and we feel like women should experience that, because we have to take notes and understand what we don't want. And it's okay to experience that. Do not feel bad on yourself for being that girl that was a people pleaser, that wanted to, or thought that was love to carry somebody. Don't feel bad about that. You have to experience that so that you can go through it and understand what you do and don't like, because it's all about capacity. We're all trying to win out here. So to carry somebody else on your back when you're trying to win yourself, that's a lot. And it's okay to say that, hey, look, I don't have the capacity to carry no man on my back. I don't. I'm independent, but I've never rapped that. I've never been okay with seeing a person get taken advantage of, knowing that, their cup isn't all the way full, because there's a lot of people in survival that's carrying other people, and shout out to them. But, I don't want the straw that broke the camel back, because that builds resentment. You'll eventually, and this is psychology, y'all, you'll eventually start to resent that person, because you either expected so much from them and they really couldn't deliver, or you ignored the reality of who they were in the first place. And remember, being a bum is mentality. It's not about nice clothes, nice shoes, or this and that. It's about, are your basics together? Do you care about getting them together? Are you waking up and really grinding to do the things that you need to do? Like, I can't lie, hustle culture can get kind of toxic when you're not taking care of your health. But girl, the hustle worked for me, and I know it worked for these men. So you have to stop accepting men that don't want to go out and get it. You don't have to show a man or a person how to care for themselves. A bum is a man that's in survival mode. Remember that. He's going to do anything he can to survive, even if that means lifting off of you and your family and a little bit of resources that you have. And you will know the difference between a bum and a man that's really doing something with his life or aspires to do something by results. God blesses those who plant those seeds. And if you believe in God, you have to know, like, hey, why this person keep having all this bad luck? Sometimes you got to look at people and you got to look at patterns and say, hey, this person always gossiping about other people. They always spewing something bad out their mouth. Every time they get a job, they lose it, and they always get into arguments and just bringing bad energy to things. And sometimes you have to be real with yourself. If this man is bringing bum energy to himself and he don't believe in himself, that's something that you have to walk away from, and you have to be okay with that. You really you got to applaud yourself for that. And if you have walked away from that, drop applaud emoji in the comments, because you really do deserve that, because it's hard, our innate nature is wanting to take care and nurture. That's our feminine energy. But a man that's not in his masculine will eventually put you in yours. So be careful, because it's real out here. It's real. I think other times we don't get to know people. I've been through this before where as a spiritual person and a believer in God, I feel like sometimes we have to separate our spiritual beliefs about timing and the right place and the right time and the right thing and the right time. We have to separate that from reality sometimes. And not to be of the world, but to just be in reality and understand how to use that to our advantage. It's okay to take time. I understand that your body is reacting. I understand that this seems like it's perfect, because I've been in that type of relationship where everything was so perfect and it felt so good. But in reality, the things that were going on weren't good for me at all. Like, not one bit, And I just would wonder why when I was with certain people, I kept getting bad luck and bad things would happen. But when I would be by myself, these things would never happen. I would never get in arguments with people. I wouldn't be in no messy drama. I would just be making my money, minding my business, and getting to a bag. But for some reason, when this person comes around, there was always this extra energy that I realized I could not afford to lose. And I was pouring so much into the situation. And I realized it was because I had this idea, like this fairy tale idea, that this person was sent into my life at this right time. And that's why you have to be careful with the things that you let infiltrate your mind, because you have to understand, like, yeah, it's nice to watch these romantic movies and these romantic stories, but you also have to separate that from reality, because it's a world out here, and a person can only show you so much of themselves. So you have to allow time for the real them to come out. And you also have to express yourself as well. And that's a part of putting out boundaries and giving them time to get to know you too, so that they don't think you're going for it either. They're going to be like, oh no, I can't run this on her. She not going for it. Because looking back in my relationships, I realized that if I would have put more time, like, even I'm talking just even a couple more months, even just getting to know a person's family, getting to know their upbringing, who are they around other people, how are they in female male relationships, because how do they treat other women, like what type of person are you? That's very important. And I feel like time is just key to understanding, experiencing, and overcoming a lot of issues that women deal with. So these are ways and red flags to figure out if you're dating a bum. If you dated a bum before and you want to talk about it, girl, I'm here for it. It's just the experience at the end of the day. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it make you feel bad. Just be smart about it next time and get in your bag. Okay? All right, y'all. Good night. It's Bag Lady J.